Reverend B.A. Gregg, Athanasi Grammar 6 Alpha. In this lecture, we will be discussing the present indicative middle passive, the present imperative middle passive, the present infinitive middle passive, and then, of course, our favorite, deponent verbs. First, of course, is the chart. This is the chart of noun conjugations of your common verbs, your omega, your alpha, and your epsilon in the present indicative. But instead of the active, we're introducing the middle passive. Middle and passive. Chart, however, is very easy to remember. You have a my ending. Of course, in the alpha, this contracts to alpha plus omicron equaling omega, while the epsilon contract has an epsilon in the stem, and therefore the result is you would end up with poiumai. Second singular, you, loose, honor, and do. Now, of course, in the middle, we're going to be talking about this. Of course, you have the etai, atai, etai. You do have to understand the morphology or the form to understand how the verb works. Amatha, alpha plus omicron, omega, epsilon plus omicron, oo. Luestha, timastha, poiestha, lountai, timontai, poiuntai. Notice the endings my, a, etai, matha, stha, and ontai. First, I, second singular you, third singular she, he, it. First plural, we, second plural, you all, third plural, they. Now what does this mean? Memorize this. Well, first off, we have to add the infinitive and the imperative. Now notice the active infinitive, as we remember, very straightforward, ain ending. The middle passive present infinitive, esthai. And of course the contract would be asthai, and then asthai for the epsilon contract. Now for the imperative, how you give commands, it's not lue, it's lu, leu, leustha, timo, timastha, philu, philestha. The middle passive is a totally different construction based on the present. So when you memorize it, you should be memorizing across the board. This will be on the quiz. Now, what does it mean to be active and passive and middle? We've talked about that already with Latin. In the active, the subject does the verb. In the passive, the subject is done to by the verb. But in the middle voice, the subject either acts upon itself or acts for its own interest. So we remember active and passive rather straight. While middle is when you are either doing it upon oneself, or when you are doing it for your own interests. I'm doing homework. You could use the middle. I'm doing my own homework. So the active voice, Mikael Mus, Tain Hamaksan, Apolue. Mickey Mouse washes the wagon or the car. It's active. While Mickey Mouse is acted upon, you could use that middle passive. It's the same construction in the present. The middle passive could be either used passively. Mickey Mouse is washed with water, using a nice dative means phrase. Or you could also say passive voice, the middle voice, that should say middle there. Mickey Mouse washes himself in the bathtub. Apolute, apolutete. Now, what does this mean? Let's take a look at it fully. You do have to worry about a lot of verbs in Greek being middles. They're very straightforward because they're found in the glossary in the middle passive. For example, erkomai. It isn't I am comed or I come for myself. It is instead I come or I go. And then all the compounds, aperkomai, everything else. Gignamai, very common. I become. It's middle passive and voice, middle passive and construction, active and voice. Bulumai, I wish. Afigneomai, I arrive. Now let's take at the little is. Lives again. Compels, forces. An infinitive, to send. Provides. Do we see any middle passives here? Oh, there it is. So he wants to what? To help. Very straightforward. Enjoy your translation.